Hello and welcome to the Aaron Russos podcast. Thank you for joining us today. This episode could be called the Summer Series. Well, it is here in Australia anyway. I know from watching the news that over in the US, some of the parts of the US are ravaged with snowstorms, which is quite the obvious here. Opposite here, we're probably it's 7 o'clock at night and we're 40 plus degrees Celsius. And we have the extremes in the southern parts of Australia, and more in the tropics. It's more balanced weather, I guess. Not that I'm here to talk about the weather today. I wanted to do a bit of a deeper dive into. I've done many a podcast on cancer, and greatest, I guess I would call it the greatest problem of our time, because it affects so many directly and indirectly, and families, and we're really, I guess it depends on who you are also to how it affects you. And in my own battle with chronic anxiety and doing that research, I made a bit of a plan, and that I wasn't going to move on to find out how to fix it until I found out what was causing it. And I believe that this is the right from the ultimate mathematician myself, with the track record and the runs on the board that no one else on the planet has. Out of 8 billion people, I think I can have the right and the authority to say that this is a great way to deal with things. Let's not even think about how we're going to fix it until we work out what is causing the problem. And it's not just medical and health issues. Any problem, when we know what's causing it, we have more power to fix it. And I guess when I was first thrust upon the subject, because I was the happiest I've ever been in my whole entire life, having just healed myself, and a little bit naive, not knowing anything else. I wasn't back in that stage spiritual, even though I had studied mathematics all my life, or numerology and Pythagorean numerology and stuff. That's a science, right? It's not spirituality. And while it does take into consideration, human conditioning and free will, I took them at face value of what they were, and I didn't really dive deeper into that. I didn't have an understanding of the system that we belong to and how we ultimately work within that. So I was in bliss, absolute bliss, and then I started to go out and talk to people who were part of organisations, governments, people that really wanted chronic anxiety, the cure, or said they had, or had been spending huge amounts of money or raising huge amounts of money to do that. And when none of them wanted to know what I had or even test it, they basically, I can understand completely, where they're coming from. Some guy who has a mental illness has come out and said to them that out of all the people, the billions of dollars in funding, all the greatest medical minds on the planet that have been working at this, that this one guy, me, has cracked the code and worked it out. And not only that, there's 300 million people in the world that have chronic anxiety and are medicated, and I can reverse it, dissolve it, and heal it in 14 days. And at the time, I had no idea what I'd done. Okay, no idea whatsoever. It's taken me 7 years post doing that to go through and work out a whole lot of other stuff. And I was exhausted, I was tired, I was at the end of my tether then with everything going on, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to relax. And basically what happened when no one wanted to know, I went, oh, I got angry again. And obviously when you're angry again but you've got unlimited energy, it wasn't my ADHD, it wasn't anxiety energy that, you know, is quite powerful in itself. It was anger. And anger itself is quite powerful. And so I said, fuck you, I'm gonna find all the causes and cure all the cancers, and fuck yous all up for not fucking listening to me. I got angry. This is how I started my whole journey and everything that I'm all about today. Before that, I was a lifelong atheist, putting Jedi on the census form and just having a good time. You ask anyone that's where they'll go, mate, you had a good time, laugh a lot, sort of a bloke, no responsibility, no accountability. I was quite, I was pretty reckless. I didn't give a shit. I was all about having a good time. And so I already had a formula, right? It took me 4 months to research my own causes, but I had a formula in it, and it won. And despite no one else believing me, I won. And my whole life being a failure before that, I won in the biggest way possible. I healed myself of what the world commonly knows as an incurable disease that they haven't even come close to healing. Now, 20 years earlier, I'd had a 20-year condition that separate to this, that no doctor could even work out, regardless of the money, the specialist knowledge that they had all around the world. This was a big thing for them to try and help me, and none of them could, and they couldn't even get it close. And a half an hour meeting with a kinesiologist found out that it was a trauma, asked my body to clear it, and I've never had that problem since again. That didn't wake me to all this sort of stuff that I'm doing now. I just went back to normal life. I look back now and see how profound and how amazing it is. But obviously that innate intelligence and things that we don't know, it made me think, there is things like, I mean, the emotional humanitarian guy that I am goes, wow, how many people have got traumas that are, disguised as medical problems that we can't fix? Millions, hundreds of millions, I'm sure. But mentally I was thinking, wow, if that, I've done 2 things now that no one said could be done. The whole world, all 8 million of you say that all the best doctors that are entrusted with our well-being and to give us the best, latest, most up-to-date things so that we can have a great life here, they couldn't work it out. And also with chronic anxiety, they couldn't work it out. So I'd worked that out. And so mentally I'm thinking, Aaron, you've already got 2 of the most profound discoveries on the planet. Why not cancer? And I'm angry because no one wants to listen to me, and they probably thought I was still crazy. Who knows? We have a lot of shit things happen on the planet. And it's not all roses, and who cares? I'm going to get into this cancer. So I start researching, and I'm like, all right, what could be causing cancer? What is cancer? And I looked at all different cancers and blood cancers and tumours, and I was like, oh, okay. Why would that tumour? What is a tumour? What is the growth? How does it grow? It's an abnormality. It's not normal. It's not part of the normal system. So I was like, well, and obviously by this stage, I'm understanding also that energetically and mentally, right, there was heaps of things, that the mental part and the soul part, that had caused my chronic anxiety. Not to the length of cancer, there's more. But I knew that it was going to be a holistic thing, so I went back and I looked at everything unnatural for a natural system that we've been exposed to, that we've drank, that we've eaten, that we've put on our skin, that we've washed in, that we've, because I've come from a trauma background, right? That's made me have a physical ailment that no doctor can fix, where I absolutely just looks like I'm just absolutely just passing out, nearly dying, but not fainting. It's not a faint. It's not the process of that blood loss. So I come from this trauma background, and I'm like, okay, so that's there as well. With the chronic anxiety, the mental anguish, and bits and pieces, and that winding up with consciousness, energy, unbalanced, was caused, and it was just a huge dysfunctional thing. So I'm like, well, it's easy to say, and everyone's always going on about the physical part or causes of cancer, and smoking, and carcinogenics, and processed foods and chemicals, and that's the easy part, right? And they're all singular studies, by the way. Nothing has been combined. So I was like, hang on a minute, I'm looking for all these causes. I'm looking at medical studies on causes of cancer, and they're all singular. There's none combined. And I'm going, are you fucking kidding me? The whole world, trillions of fucking dollars, and no one has done combined studies of things coming at a human body? And I was like, wow, this is an injustice to humanity of it's being done. We can't be that dumb. All the doctors and greatest minds in the world can't be that fucking stupid. Are they really fucking just absolute fucking nongers that have gone through college, passed the fucking college test, got into Thingo, and have no relevance or no understanding of real life whatsoever? Yes, it's true. So I started looking at the causes, and it's easy to start with what's unnatural for a natural body physically. What's unnatural for a natural mind mentally? What's unnatural for a naturally aligned soul? Okay, we have an emotional guidance system. When shit feels good, it is good. When it's not, we might be distorted in what we're feeling, and people might look at drugs and food and get those addictive feelings as wrong, but I'm talking about true essence, innocence, feeling. And I'm out there going, wow, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And what I did previously with chronic anxiety was I got the things that were unnatural, and I gave them, across our holistic being, body, mind and soul, I gave them a toxicity rating. So what I did was I went, all right, how unnatural is this? Fuck, very unnatural. How frequent do I do it, or am I exposed to it compared to healthy levels? Extreme. How long, what's the duration of being exposed or doing that? 20 years. And so I found a toxicity score of all these things, and coming at a human body. and they still didn't give me chronic anxiety. They still won't give you cancer. And it wasn't until a little beautiful thing popped up, and I learned about homeostasis. What is the body's optimum state, where everything is working in optimum, everything is beautiful, where if you eat too much fat, the body just gets rid of it. There's higher states where, the C1 receptor in your brain is regulating your body so well that toxin. It doesn't matter what you get, high levels of all those unnatural things and everything, it just takes care of it. And so, are you with me on this? Here's the key. If that state of homeostasis, it's like a mobile, or it oscillates when bad things happen or good things. It oscillates and it finds this common ground. So our normal optimum homeostasis point, it could be a lower state, a lower again, a lower again. Now, when it gets so low that it still doesn't, cause a cancer. But then you get those another 20 things with a high toxicity level coming at the body, and the homeostasis is low, disease can get in. You can almost work out which cancer, depending on what all the different things that are coming at that lowered state of homeostasis. And the one clue that originally got me onto this was, why do so many men in Australia have prostate cancer? And I thought, what do all men commonly, these men, all of them are all knocking off work at 5 o'clock and having a beer, or whenever they knock off. And so I started finding correlations between generalized larger groups of the collective and different cancers, and different aggressive ones with other obscure things. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that one day it will be a mathematical formula that could tell you, based on what you're doing and what you're exposed to and everything else, you could actually, I could map it and say you would get this cancer and it would be this aggressive and more likely to get it right here. And so when I looked at all of these things that were unnatural for a natural system, there's hundreds, absolutely hundreds. And look, there are some general things. That's the thing, it's multi-dimensional. Not fucking multi-dimensional, you don't understand those words. Even though everything around you is multi-dimensional, gravity's multi-dimensional, love's multi-dimensional, everything. But you don't understand the word. There's lots going on, right? There's lots of unnatural things going on. And so when you look at a human being in homeostasis, at optimum, naturally aligned, balanced in thought, in chemical operation, mentally not exposed, not in fear, right? Like mentally, there's hundreds of things. For the soul, the DNA, the other thing I found was our DNA. And through the Human Genome Project, I'm studying basically everything that a doctor has got, a specialist, and I'm able to then go outside of that. I'm not restricted or limited by the box that those doctors and those specialists work in. I mean, a doctor can't even, pull in nutrition or natural remedies and merge them together to get a higher success rate for treating cancer. That alone is fucking ridiculous, right? It is guaranteed, without a doubt, that if a doctor gave normal treatment, whether it be radiation, chemo, whatever drugs they're dealing with at the moment, treat it, and they added nutrition and any natural remedies and even maybe some lifestyle changes, that it is guaranteed to improve the rate of healing, or the actual cancer to reduce in that person. Guaranteed. There's never been a case where that's been applied and the cancer's got worse. The only reason, or the only time when the cancer has progressed worse or got more aggressive and been thingo, is when the unnatural treatments, medications that doctors can only prescribe because of their box that they live in and they're taught in. They don't know anything outside of the box. They look at me and hear blah, 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 blah. Even though it makes quite sense to you, it makes more sense to a common person than them who's been at school for 6 years being almost brainwashed into a certain medical model that they think they're right. And then they'll defend that even though it will kill some people. That's the human being. That's why our biology can get hacked. That's why we've got, most of the largest businesses and companies in the world are run by us being addicted to things. These are facts. I'm not talking about my opinion here. I'm stating the bleeding obvious. Is that the word? Bleeding obvious? I don't know. So this is what we're dealing with. So all the causes of cancer, and I've done posts. One of my first ever posts was stop posting cancer story, because when I understood, this came through manifesting, and it wasn't even the latest version of manifesting that I had. In the old days, I'd be up on the Gold Coast doing manifesting classes with young women on schoolies and a couple of blokes who are just there for the girls. And we're having a ball and we're teaching them about themselves and their character and how to naturally align and balance themselves, and then how to use, visualization and different techniques. The I am, saying you are, being present, mindfulness, all these things, filters to manifest a better outcome or a future or something better for their lives. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, hang on a minute. Energetically, these people that are going online, they truly believe they've got no hope. They're posting cancer story. They're manifesting more cancer and the demise and the increase of cancer and their death. And then what do you think happens when I go to them and say, look, I'm a 34-year veteran of numerology, which is physics, the science of physics, right? The natural science of everything. What you're doing is actually, don't be so fucking... And so people would rather die than listen to me try something that doesn't cost any money and doesn't hurt them and see what the difference in results. One of the things that I did in my 14 days when I healed myself back in 2018, part of the program, it's still on my website. I wake up and I say, I am well. There wasn't once in the 14 days that I went, I've got chronic anxiety and ADHD and I can't concentrate, I got this and I got that. No. Energetically, I was shifting. You feel things energetically before you see them physically. And so I was, and we know this, science knows this now. Everything I did back then is emerging science now and has been proven, measured and all sorts of shit. It's not fucking woo-woo like all you simpletons think. You're giving yourself cancer and you don't even realise it. You don't know the mechanics of it, yet when someone presents something to you, you would rather go to a doctor who's only allowed to work in one box, can't even bring in nutrition, natural or anything else. So you're dealing with one guy in one box is dealing with about 25% of a human being and wondering why the results are limited, and wondering why you can't eradicate it every time. Wondering why. Is that too hard to understand? You have to be a fucking, marine bio, some sort of fucking genius to fucking know this shit. I'm the dumbest fucking person on this planet. I am the dumbest, most uneducated, fucking slowest, fucking hard to fucking understand anything. When I'm, whether it be at school or when we're learning shit, I'm the fucking slowest. And I can see that and understand that. So what's going on? What am I missing? What the fuck am I missing that all of you people are out there going, oh yeah, this is the right thing to do? Are you fucking distracted? Are you off your fucking heads? Are you on drugs? Are you fucking... What is going on? I fucking seriously can't... And then if I fucking say something, I'm the fucking asshole. Come on. I'm the only fucking asshole that fucking cares about you. You don't even fucking care about yourself. I'm the only one out here every fucking day trying to fucking help humanity that doesn't even want to help itself. What the fuck is wrong with the world? Seriously. I haven't even gone, oh, look, you know what? I'll box this up like everything else and I'll become the richest person on the planet. Because I could. For fucking 20% of the discoveries that I've found, I'm hands down the fucking... Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should fool everyone, create a fucking business around it, and just... I can't do it because I'm not an asshole like everyone else. There is everything that I'm telling you can be tested. So the process for me was to find out these things that are what's causing cancer, lots of them. And then I actually use what doctors use. It's called the process of elimination. So I started getting people, and I was lucky in the first year. I had heaps of people with cancer, but there was the worst of the worst. Who's going to let someone not experiment, but try? I was dead set, certain and understanding of these things. But when I took them out of people's lives, everything improved far beyond what their normal treatment was. So there was the first step. You can test everything that I'm telling you. Instead of fucking telling everyone and making a big story and getting all the attention as a fucking person with cancer, grow a fucking set of balls and wake up and go, I am well, and believe it. And stop playing the victim and stop letting your mentally sending out. Mental thoughts are frequencies. When you turn them into words, they're vibrations in the air. Your ears hear them. Talking to your cells. It's all fucking science. You think, this is the big one I used to get all the time from the very day dot. Oh, that little bit won't hurt. Oh yeah, there's 42 rare metals in phones that give mice coronary in large levels, but that little bit won't hurt us. No, it doesn't. I live an organic lifestyle, washing your clothes. Oh yeah, but that little bit of... No, it won't. Wi-Fi? No, that little bit won't hurt you. Chemicals in your food? No, that little bit. Genetically modified food that's fucking basically changing the whole genetically composition of food and molecular structure. No, that won't. That little bit won't hurt. Just a little bit. In a natural system that's used to being getting something naturally aligned, that little bit won't hurt. You might fucking, little bit. But when you've got a human body that's already in a lowered state, it's not even homeostasis anymore. It's a lowered state. It's dysfunctional, and you call it normal. You all call it normal. You have no idea, or no one's even experienced at a level that I have, and I reckon I'm the only one. And so that dysfunctional, that lowered state of a human being, and you know all those little things, you go, oh, that little bit won't hurt, and oh, that little thing won't hurt, and that little bit there. We'll get 20 of those little things and fucking come at a person at lowered states. That's where your disease happens. That's where cancer is caused. Guaranteed. And you can prove it by increasing someone's homeostasis, and you can get all those things and bring it at it, and it's impossible. I went to doctors and I said, oh, in this state, can I get cancer? And they said, no, it's impossible. Does that not ring an alarm bell in your head that goes ding, 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 ding? Every doctor says if you're in this state of homeostasis, it's impossible to get cancer. It's an impossibility. The frequency, the way the body is operating, cancer cannot infiltrate that body. Wouldn't you just go, well, how do we get the body to that state? How do we change the body? Because that's all I did. How come no fucking doctor can do that? How come there's not 8 billion of you people out there going ding, 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 bells going off, going, what the fuck? How can we be so fucking stupid? How can we trust every fucking motherfucker to do the right thing by us? How the fuck did I get in this position in the first place? Because someone put me on a drug and didn't explain to me that after a certain amount of time, I had to take that drug for the rest of my life. So when I went in to my doctor, my GP, and said, bro, I've got to get off these drugs, he said, sorry, you have to take it for the rest of your life. And I got angry. That's why I'm here. That's the only reason why I'm here. Because I trusted someone outside of myself who doesn't give a fuck about me, like everyone that treats you doesn't give. No doctor ever, if you drop dead tomorrow, they don't give a fucking flying fuck. But you'll trust them with your life. Don't you think that that's out of balance? You'll trust them with your fucking life, and they will not shed a fucking tear if you died tomorrow. And that realization to me went, fuck, Aaron, you've got to be accountable for yourself to some degree when you're sick, because no one else will be. No one else understands you like you. And so we go on this journey, and then we realize that not only have we come up with the greatest discovery of the human race in its whole existence on planet Earth, which should be just accepted and understood and refined and developed and widely spread to enhance the human being's experience on Earth, to not have so much heartache and anguish. We're talking about billions of people. But then we've got this biology that goes, and egos and systems and money and corruption and governments and propaganda, and there's a whole other fucking game out there. And I have said in many and many a podcast, I don't know if actually I've said in many podcasts, developing and going through these stages, because I am now, over the last 7 years, on a spiritual journey, and have come and found out so much more. So I'm glad I didn't just stop with the chronic anxiety, because I've nearly worked out the whole fucking shooting match of the system we're part of, how we work, how we fit into it, what's possible, all the rest of it. So I'm glad. But back then I was like, man, just fucking make me sick again, make me fucking ignorant. Because ignorance is bliss. You know, it was like a curse knowing this stuff. And then you guys being still in your bliss killing yourselves. Now I've developed it, lots of other things, and, spiritually grown myself to have more awareness and be awakened to bigger and brighter things. And when you get into those states, you know where the answers are coming from and you know what's going on. And so now it's like, I know the system that we're part of, which you have no fucking idea of. How we work holistically, body, mind and soul. But also now that I know the trajectory, I know the cycles, where it's going. I've always been into cycles in numerology. I'm telling people there are other personal and universal cycles, but I can see an expanding universe where these things go, where the tipping point is. It's fluid, it's multidimensional, it's so complex to you, but it's so simple. Everything that I've found has discovery-wise that cures incurable diseases that no 8 billion people on the planet can work out with trillions of dollars and the greatest medical minds and all the resources in the world, has all been found in the simplicity of it all. I'm talking to you about homeostasis. If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. Going to the doctor saying homeostasis, you go, mate, you can't get cancer in that state. Well, fuck, ding, ding, ding. How do I get a body to that state? Oh, okay, let's go and have a look. Let's try out things. Oh, get this diet. Oh, diet's not just a token pillar. It's probably the biggest part of it, because it's something we do every day, and then we have cell regenerative, it drives cell regeneration. It takes a load off and allows extra energy for doing other things depending on the diet. There's so much going on, but it was all just simple. It was all fucking easy, mate. As I said, I'm no intelligent person whatsoever. Maybe that's why I was given this discovery. Maybe they've gone, look, if we give it to the dumbest guy on the planet and he works it out, then surely everyone else is going to come along. There's some people that get it. There's some people that, unless you've had direct experience and seen it, it doesn't mean a lot to you just listening to it. And it's like people that are sick, having the experience that I've had, I could probably see now why maybe no doctor could get something unless, they've been so sick that they had to come up with something. But having it myself, I could understand a lot more of it. I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, I fucking got it. This is a podcast about what causes cancer. Now, I'm going to tell you the last thing about what causes cancer. There's lots of things across the body, mind and soul. And that is that when I started this project, like with my chronic anxiety, I said, all right, I'm not going to move to phase 2 until I have a really good idea of what causes cancer. Okay? What causes it? And when I'm supremely confident with that, I'm then going to offset it by coming up with a plan to cure it. This whole process was then culminating in a year of lots of people that were the worst of the worst as far as aggressive cancers, blood cancers, tumours, brain, stem of brain, lung, heart, colon, stomach, all sorts of stuff, all in 1 year. From the day that I was angry to the day that I started helping people or got it was 2 weeks. Yeah, I'd had that little bit before to do my own chronic anxiety, so I had a bit of a formula, a system and stuff. But if I can have a good idea of what all the causes I stayed up for 19 hours a day. I wasn't slouching about. If I came up with confidently what I thought was all the causes of cancer, and then how I would offset that and reverse it, and in 2 weeks, and then do that to people for the rest of that year, and every single one of them that had a diagnosis of less than a few months is still alive today, and that was 6 years ago or 7 years ago, then I would say that worked. Yeah, pretty good. So what the fuck are these other people doing? What the fuck is everybody else doing? If I can do that in a couple of weeks, do you know what I mean? And everything that I've just told you in this whole podcast today, in a list of do's and don'ts, a very easy plan to follow, that exact plan that I did 7 years ago, is on my website. You don't even have to sign up with an email. That anybody can go there with cancer and start it today and reverse their cancer from today. And if it doesn't work, they'll be the first people. And I'm talking about aggressive ones as well. It's mathematical. It's, it's not going, all right, if radiation and chemo is 20% change in a human being, I'm offering 100% change, which radically changes the everything. As I said, I'm getting you to a state of homeostasis where every doctor in the world has told me that cancer can't survive in that. So I'm getting that. It's all there on my website. You can go there now. You can share it. You can spread it around the world. How would the best way to change the world? Go there, send it to every single person that you know, so that they know what causes cancer, because it's all there, right? And there's chronic anxiety as well for free. Go and do that. If everybody did that and shared this podcast, within a few years, the world would be a different place. And that's the only way that you can actually help humanity, by changing the world. It doesn't cost you anything. A couple of minutes, 2 minutes, and you could change the world. Share this podcast, share that protocol. Let see what happens. That's how easy it is. Unless you don't believe me, but I'm giving you all the proof. Make me look like an idiot. Couldn't you at least do that? Huh? What sort of a person goes to you, hey, listen, I've got the cure to cancer, but I want you to make me look stupid. I want you to fucking do it exactly the way it says it, and I want you to come back and say it doesn't work. I've never seen it not work. Why don't you prove me stupid? Why don't you make me look like an idiot? Is there anyone out there that can make me look like an idiot? Is there any doctor? Doctors don't even want to look at this, because it involves things that they don't understand, and their very own livelihood. It's just too much. It's too much for them. Look, made me look like an idiot. Any doctor, any specialist, anything. You think you're the only doctors in the world that have seen this? Everyone's got it. The government's had it for years. Make me look like an idiot. Absolutely fucking discourage me, put me down as the people of the world. Share it, do it, and just say this guy is the biggest fucking crackpot in the world. Go and do it. I dare you to do it. That's my dare. There you go. Double dare. There you go. Go and do it. Show everyone that that it's just totally all that shit that I just said, everything that I've been through, everything I've seen. I was the first person to heal myself. I was the first person in the history of the human race to cure an incurable disease from a planned protocol ever. Why isn't that making headlines? Why isn't that ding, 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 ding? Why isn't bells going off? Why isn't Dingo? But more importantly, okay, the biggest discovery on the planet, and it hasn't made one headline, despite 170 news press releases with all the scientific proofs, evidence, testimonials, people and everything, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, that is cool. The part that I don't understand is, why can't they just get it and discourage me? Why can't they just get it and say it doesn't work? You've got to ask yourself that question. Yeah, okay, guys fucking got something that doesn't work. That's the way the world normally works, isn't it? When they silence you, that means you've got something. And so I'm relying on people like you to share it, and this podcast prove that it doesn't work, or if it does, you change the world forever. Okay, so you want to be part of something that everyone's going to be talking about for many years to come, or are you just going to let other human beings like just die and suffer, and family members and grief and terrible things? Anyway, that's what we're up against. That's what's going on. Yeah, prove me wrong.